Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, Impact from there we go, glitch. Impact fan, welcome to our episode 89 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. We got a great one for you. Obviously, a lot to talk about. Max will be joining me in just a second, we hope. Obviously, technical difficulties. What's new? TNA. Anyways, I thought it was a fun show. We won't get too much into that. Obviously, I'll save that. We have a lot of YouTube comments that kind of reflect this weekend last. And then power rankings and some news on that, as well as a Rebellion review and our predictions, scores, and how the TNAIW team stacked up. As well as what we thought of the pay-per-view as a whole. It seems like everyone was a little bit torn or divided, but overall, general, pretty positive. We'll see if the chat lights up. Like I said, I'm still trying to get Max in on this. But for those who are rocking with us, if you rocked with us yesterday for our live pre-show for Rebellion on Twitch exclusive, so twitch.tv/TNAIW channel. Every month we will have our Saturday show as a pre-show, and then obviously Sundays here, 8 p.m. Weekly. So this is episode 89, as I said. We are at 89 on Twitch. Thank you to the last two were to get us back up to where we where we needed to be. It worked. It worked. And thank you guys. We're at 289 on subs, 172 in views. Not only are you guys watching what's happening now, but you're going back and watching the past ones, and we love you for that. 85 and 86 are top two all time. So thank you guys for that. IO still killing it on Twitter, 3,543. So doing well there. All right, guys. You know how this works. We are spoiler free. Hopefully you watched Rebellion before you watched this. Because if not, we're going to be transparent, unbiased. You know the deal. And as we always say, let us be your guides to Impact Wrestling. If you don't like what you see here, or you don't like what our opinions are, no big deal. If you're trying to rock with Impact Wrestling, there's a lot of great Impact content creators out there. Go check them out and tell us what you think. All right. So I'm trying to, bear with me here, trying to get Max up on the call as well. Make sure you guys hit us up in the chat. Make sure I know it's rolling. And I'll try to get Max here as well. While all right, doesn't look like it's working. Well, let's get right. Let me plug a couple more things while I try to burn some time. Real quick, obviously, if you saw the predictions yesterday, you saw the greatness that was the guys from Talking Bloody Nonsense. You could catch them every Thursday, 4 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST. Check them out every Thursday. And then Luchu also had his predictions, and their lights going out. What is going on here? The wheels have fell off. Every Thursday, 4:20 Pacific time, you could catch LOL TNA. If you haven't started with us, it's not time sensitive. Go watch it. It's enjoyable. And it's just laugh at our stupidity. And then tomorrow is the debut of the expanded Power Rankings, the GoGoPowerRankings, the Tia and Bert extended show right here on the TNAIW channel. I don't know what we're going to call it. Dino Fury. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But with that being said, we'll get to YouTube, or we'll get to Power Rankings. So let's go to YouTube comments first. All right. Critical Sting always in here, man. What's going on, buddy? Rebellion was good in my opinion, but not better than HTK. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, and we'll talk about that. We have the comments to talk about, and if Max was here, that was actually going to be my setup. Was that he is the Rebellion to my Hard to Kill. I thought it was a great show, obviously, but I see your point there. Everyone else's. All right. Let's get first YouTube comments here. Fade to Bland 20. I thought Bailey was more impressive, way more impressive than Ace in the X Division title match. Ace sort of just does the same few moves over and over and over again, so I guess Influence will feud with Decay for the rest of the year since they aren't many opponents for him. Here we go with the people that need the hugs. What's going on, Fade to Bland 20? No, look, I always say we want every opinion you have. We embrace every opinion. We'll answer as I'm going to do it. But I will say this. The reason I was weary about doing it today was that it's not about going to find our video and writing negative things about Impact. Well, understand that. You have a point, whatever, and this is even a point. But you're going out of your way to go back on a previous video and talk about how someone doesn't move over. Why are we so negative? Was the rest of the show good? Or was Ace doing a move over and over, which I have no clue what you're talking about, repetitive? I don't know. I think we'll always find something, and we'll get to that, I'm guessing, on the next ones. It's no offense. I say this every time. It's nothing but love. I love everyone's opinion, but doesn't mean I have to necessarily agree. Metal Lazy 99. I don't think Moose retaining would be the right choice. There are no other top faces in Impact. This doesn't matter, I guess, because that was just based on something I had said last week where I thought the money was in Josh, which it was, but there was more money maybe in Moose winning and creating a third contender there. The Silver's up next. I think it's more difficult for some fans to be interested in storylines and feuds of unsigned talents when they know they aren't signed and can leave for other promotions. Basically, Impact would have them to scramble to fill the voids. Yeah, I get the narrative of this, and I'm going to read Fade to Bland. I'm guessing it's something positive. As far as the roster, I think it'd be more interesting if they could sign several top wrestlers that fans would want to see and have everybody else just PPA deal. I do think with the current roster not being that big, it means more redundant matches going forward, and it'll get tired. Was there a match on this card that has happened before besides Josh and Moose? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But look, the top stars thing, you got to call a spade a spade. It's like you guys are trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Impact has always been a square peg. We've never had the top stars except for that little run, and I think it was our worst run with Hogan and all of that. We're not that company right now, okay? If you didn't read the dirt sheets, would you know when people's contracts are up? Are we supposed to keep catering to the internet audience that knows every little thing about it, or do we just put on a damn good show and then hopefully people tune in? And then when we do have more revenue to keep it signing big stars, we can. But right now, we're not that. We're not going to be that. And if you guys keep posting every week the same stuff about needing top stars that are in their 40s, almost 50s, that other people are getting, and once again, pro wrestling. Would I love to have Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson? Of course. Would I love to have CM Punk? Of course. Would I like to have insert Brock Lesnar or anyone here? Yes, of course. That's not a slight on the companies using them. It's saying that it's not the make or break for what Impact does or the step, as Josh said, we are not a stepping stone company anymore. We're building our stars from within, right? We're creating household names one by one. And if you guys want us to be whatever tomorrow, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Darker Sides 2022? Are these the same people? No. Impact should not overpay to sign top talent, free agents, especially with them being on Access TV, but they should also not just settle for mediocrity either. What is mediocrity to you? Do you like the show you're watching? And this isn't being an Impact homer. I want to. If this was a show dedicated to Seinfeld, would we be talking about? Oh, I heard Seinfeld's contract. Or, look, you're trying to change what Impact is to make it what you want it to be, to serve the narrative of the dick swinging contest of AEW versus WWE. We don't need to be part of that. I watch a show because I'm a grown-ass person who watches a show, and I like the show I watch. If you don't like the show, and you only like it because you want to say it's better than AEW or WWE, then, bro, this ain't for you. And we are not that show. Are we welcoming of all opinions? Yes, I love every time these guys comment. I'm not saying that to be whatever. But some of y'all motherfuckers need a hug. Let's get a hug. I don't think we're mediocre. I think mediocrity is in the eye of the beholder, and if you base it off other people's opinions being its stature from who's fans of it, and I don't fuck with that. Silver's again. Moose and Josh not only had a really good storyline, but had a fantastic match. Silver's with a little positivity. The rest of the pay-per-view wasn't bad, but lack of storylines really made it feel like an Impact episode instead of a pay-per-view. I agree because Impact episodes have been feeling like pay-per-view style matches. Sure that's what you meant? No. Yeah, I get that. We'll get into that a little bit more. I'm trying to stall for Max to see if we could get him in for the review portion, because I feel there's parts that what you're saying is very viable, and we'll talk about that. Metal Lazy 99 again. As soon as Gresham signed with AEW, they should have just booked a different match for Eddie other than Moose. Well, we'll talk about that. You know, we made a joke about it. We could go into it all day. I don't think the relationship between AEW and Impact is it exists anymore, or to where we're going to bend over backward for it to, or probably definitely vice versa. Other than Moose the Josh, there seems to be too many random matches on the card. I don't agree with that. Deonna should toss the ROH Women's title in the trash. That'd be more respectable for that title than having AEW women wrestle with it. Metal Lazy 99, always a pleasure as well. Oh, man. All right. This is the same thing, so I copied it. Hey, okay, not as much negative as I thought. Not as much. Dinesh, I never understood why people need a massive roster. It's a two-hour show. All you need is around 8 male and 6 female regular cast and have the rest on PPA deal. If you build these regulars well, they're literally all you need, in my opinion. Man, way to my heart, my friend. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Would I love a roster that's 16 men with some of the biggest names in the world? Yes. And men and women, whatever. Yes. Same time, do I want that with a 2-hour show? No. We could talk about, there's no one going to be for Influence now. It's not about how many there are for them. It's about establishing, and I think they will in this tapings, establishing a valid challenger for these, slowly but surely. There's only 1 or 2 segments allowed for these Knockout Tag Team Championships per episode. Look, we're finally getting the other tag team titles, the men's ones, with at least a little bit of depth. So it takes time. You also have to understand that when it comes to tag teams, we want tag teams. You're paying 2 people for the price of 1 segment. Technically, you're paying 4 because it's 2-2. There's a lot of things that go into it that we don't think about as is the other side. But you guys, I agree with you, Dinesh. All right, Rock Cold Dwayne Austin. Fuck yeah, cool, man. What's going on, man? I actually think Bray might sign with Impact more than I did before. Look at what he's saying on social media. On Twitter, after Jericho said he thinks TK will take over wrestling, Bray responded, tell him I can watch the Jaguars if he ever gets too busy, so on and so on. I'm sure there's a lot of details. You guys can catch these in our YouTube comments. We keep them. We don't delete them despite what we say with them. Yeah, so go read that. I don't know, man. I thought originally it was a lock, especially with the Sue pregnancy thing. I thought they could play that in there, and they kind of teased that. Maybe not Bray necessarily, but an idea that, who was the father kind of thing. I don't know if, if the money he's asking for is legit, but I don't think it's something we can really fork over. I also think the red full circle on his Twitter is really telling. For me, that means full circle, right? It came full circle, meaning go back to the WWE. You cannot become the machine if you are the machine, or whatever you say, can't be affected by it. So it makes more sense for him to go back to WWE, but I would obviously love to have him. Millard Harris, our buddy, missed the great show there, but I caught on replay. Great show as usual. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. And one more here. Darker Sides 22. All right, let's see. Honestly, some of the Impact Plus shows this year I thought were better than Rebellion. I think that's fair. It just seemed flat, well, besides Josh and Moose, which was amazing. Half agree with you there. Both Influence and VBD retaining was lame. Fans don't care for them, and worse, there was no debuting wrestlers in either division to challenge them for titles. All right. Millard Harris, card subject to change. Big Bad, Tony Khan pulling stars from shows. Gresham was hurt, but Tony doesn't like talent losing on. Yeah, I agree with that. I originally, as a advocate, I don't know if advocate is the correct term, but at least a proponent of Tony. I thought it was okay. I didn't agree with those original assessments of he didn't want people to lose, but I don't know. Maybe it's he sees that he doesn't need to give out help because they're in the position they are. Then again, they're doing a split pay-per-view with New Japan guys. So, whatever. What do you guys think about what they said? If you guys want to comment right here. I want to challenge everyone, including the people there. I don't want you to run away. If you stick with us, try to write something. It doesn't have to be positive. It doesn't have to be, I love Impact. It's the best thing in the world. Bhupinder is the best wrestler of all time. No, you'll get a to that too. But let's stop looking for the little things that aren't the end of the world. I thought most of that show was phenomenal. Yes, do I agree with some points of it there being lulls and stuff? Yes, we'll talk about that. But speaking of that, let's get to power rankings. I'm going to try to make a call, get Max back in here. If not, you're stuck with this guy for the whole show. We'll make the best of it. But thank you guys for sticking with us, rocking with us. Lucha's in the house, that from the treehouse, of course. Let's get to power rankings.
Number 10, Eddie Edwards and Honor No More. Number 9, Bullet Club. Number 8, Tag Team Champions, The Influence. Number 7, Moose. Number 6, New Reina de Reinas Champion Taya Valkyrie. Number 5, Steve Maclin. Number 4, Tag Team Champions VBD. Number 3, Knockouts Champion Tasha Steeles. Number 2, New X Division Champion Ace Austin. Number 1, Impact World Champion Josh Alexander.
All right, guys, do you agree? Do you agree? I think so. I think I do. I think there's some little movement that could happen in there, but regardless, I think you guys have been doing well. But if you don't think we've been doing well, I didn't get the vote this time. I will say that a little bit behind. Reach out at us at TNAIW channel on Twitter. You guys can be part of. All right, Max, trying to work on that. No worries, guys. Thank you for coming. Like I said, this will be live. We make it happen, then it goes on to YouTube at 10 p.m. So wherever you guys catch it, we love you. We thank you. You get the numbers up. You keep it going. We're building this community. We have some really great things prepared for you, including the extended power rankings, Unleashed, Dino Fury, whatever it is. That comes out tomorrow. So more on those power rankings then. Oh, do we have an appearance from Max? Let's see. No, we do not. All right. Probably the most logical. Yeah, I agree there. So yeah, check out Power Rankings tomorrow. Sorry, Liz, trying to work through some things, technical stuff with Max, but let's get right into stuff. Let's get into the show itself, because I think I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about this, and I would really love if we could get Max at least in the end here. First predictions there. Yeah, so I think the show, I won't say because that the power rankings were logical that it was predictable. I think you'll see later that although most of us did well in our prediction scores, it wasn't a lock, and there were some surprises there, some things that made you scratch your head and go, huh. So in some regards, once again, I do have to agree with the YouTube comments. There are some things that made it feel steady but not over the top, and I think the real buzzkill we'll get to in just a moment, and I want to see if you guys agree as far as if that's on our own volition or not. So let's start off with the pre-show. And it's so harsh to call it that, because pre-show has such a predetermined what people think of that term, but you have Eddie Edwards versus Chris Bey on the show, which ended up working out really well. Max had mentioned that on the pre-show that this might be working out better, simply because you can continue that Bullet Club H&M storyline, which seems to be where it's going, where it's going to continue to go. I don't know why I slipped in a Canadian accent there. But Eddie picked up the win there. Once again, I don't think it hurts Bey as perfect timing. Bey's in his league of his own, and I'm excited to see what they do with him past Rebellion. But Eddie continuing to be the leader there. Next up, Influence retaining over the Inspiration. Now, this split our group as far as who voted on who was going to win. This split kind of opinion as well as who should win. Obviously going back to the YouTube comments. Look, I think the Inspiration, once again, I say this a lot, it's sometimes the belt makes the team, and sometimes the team makes the belt. Right now, the belt is making the team. The Influence really do need the belt more than Inspiration. The Inspiration can chase, they can do whatever, and still look like stars that they are. And once again, if you didn't catch the pre-show, so to those who did, I'm sorry for sounding redundant if I do. But I really think that Caleb isn't gone. I think either at this tapings or not, maybe I'm completely wrong. Once again, we have no inside knowledge here. This is just guessing and throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But the hints are heading towards him bringing in a new group to be tag team and be that third. So we do have a new group. Maybe that one doesn't work and he comes back with another one. It doesn't matter if he's the catalyst or not. The division will grow in time, and it'll be fine. But I thought it was a solid match. One thing you have to say as well is I know everyone's not the highest on these matches and the work rate and as well. Look, we've established 2 teams. You know who they are. You know the influence music. You know the inspirations music. You know what each of them represent. Yes, is it time for them to move on separately? I think so. But as far as establishing 2 teams in a new division, they finally got their bearings and foundation back. Now it's time to add, which I think the men did, which we'll get to. But what I was saying was I think they've also improved drastically in the ring. There's some times that I actually popped for them. Not to say that I won in other ones. I thought they had a really good one last month, I believe it was. But this was an improvement, and I think the right decision that happened there. So next up, to start off the show, Max always says X Division is the way to go, and I agree with him. It's always been a TNA thing. They didn't go this way this month. They went with Jay White versus Chris Sabin versus Steve Maclin, and I thought it was a great way to start as well. Same thing, got the crowd into it. You start with what could be the most universally recognized star, and Jay White being the first person to come out. I love that the commentating team, how great are they, man? It took a little bit for them to, I don't even know if it took that long to gel, but it took, I think, Raywalt to a little bit to breathe and get into who he is as a commentator with us, and also Tom being by his side. Hey, Blood Rain, what's going on, our friend? But I think the commentating team, and I'm going to say this, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I think this is already might be my second favorite announced team that we've ever had. And I'm a day oneer, guys. So, yes, old. That's 20 years. So Mike and Don, always. And then, of course, for me, it's Tom and Matt. I really like the pairing, and I'll get more into that of why it mattered so much. It doesn't really reflect what I'm about to say here, but the commentating was awesome. But the match was even better, man. I saw a lot of people saying they don't get Maclin. He's generic. Look, Austin was generic. Austin was a brawler. He wasn't, doing Canadian destroyers all the time. You mean you didn't like Josh and JB? There were other great teams, but like I said, I think this team is second. But yes, look, Maclin is progressing. There was a time when people saw that we signed him and they're laughing. Oh, Maclin, who cares? Bro, exactly. Blood Rain, I agree with you. Whoever says Maclin is generic, I think are clueless at this point. Okay, and that's no offense. I don't know who actually said that or where this comes from, so forgive me if it seems directed. It is not. But I that's a general narrative I see, and especially after I said that I think he's in ringmaster level. And next, could he reach that Austin level? No, I think few do. And but at the same time, this guy is reaching DMC level, which then will become world title level within the next year or two, for sure. I think he's someone that's going to be a foundation block that no one saw coming. He came out rocking the Papa Shango yesterday, put some voodoo on him, and he picked up the victory over Sabin. A big victory for him. I thought, transparency once again, that maybe we were going to get a little help from a Weston Blake. They just became tag team champions. He had the promo where he said, I don't need help, or, they rely on help all the time. I know it's Punisher. But hey guys, let's rewind and make sure we remember who the guy that said he needs to be wearing a jacket with the skull on in the first place was before he even did it. All right. But anyways, yes, Maclin guys since day one. dug it completely. Good victory for him. I hope they continuously build on it. And the reason I thought the West and Blake thing was going to happen was the promo said that the two people he were facing that evening, Sabin and Jay White, perfect timing, thank you, Twitch, or YouTube, always needed somebody else. Always needed someone to watch their back. So it would have been fitting for the heel to always need someone watching his back, but I digress. But yeah, Steve Maclin wins. I thought it was a great one. I don't want to hear that argument no more. If you guys need to have faith in Maclin. Next up, we see the new French announce teams. One of them's handsome, and this table stayed intact. What a victory for our new announce team. Next up was Jade or Jen and Josh and Jet and Scott, Coach Scott back there amping up the match. Then we had Taya Valkyrie, new music, Neutron, looking great. Look, I can't beat this drum enough. Taya is, and always will be for me, one of the best knockouts. What I really loved, and I know I'm skipping over it, but we'll get to that when I talk about the X Division as well. Or I'm getting ahead of myself, rather. The commentating team put over her reign as what it needs to be. Okay, if she never wins another title in Impact, doesn't matter. She has the longest reigning title, championship reign in Knockouts history. They also did that, once again jumping ahead, with Trey. I thought it was a real good job with Trey, and that's what I was alluding to. I'll talk about that more depth in just a second. So Deonna versus Taya. Deonna comes out looking like $1 million. If you see these two wrestle, you see these two just enter the arena, you see a clip. These two are stars. If this makes you change the channel, then I don't know who you are. And that's the greatest compliment I could give any match. Because when you tune in and you're flicking by and you're maybe not a wrestling person and you see these two on there, Datila, what a great point in there, with Taya, excuse me, and Deonna, how do they not make you just stop and say, oh shit, this is going to be something good? And it was. I thought there was no slow motions, and what I was getting to with Tia's mention was the tag team match really was that lull for us. But I liked their match. Taya picked up the victory here. It looks like she might be sticking around. So once again, yeah, imagine passing up on both of these women. Yes, I don't know how. I don't know how. But I loved it in our Knockouts world title we'll get to later. But as far as if this is the undercard for our Knockouts, I mean, Jesus. 2 for 2. All right. Next is the one that I kept trying to get to here. Bayley, Trey, and Ace. Look, the reason I keep mentioning the commentators when it came to that, and I already alluded to it, was Trey had a hell of a run. Look, he said it, and Tom did what he needed to do in one sentence to get Trey's reign over with all the people watching. It was the 5th longest reign, right next to Christopher Daniels, right? So that puts already in prestigious company. His reign was solidified there. It was okay if Trey lost, and I think he needed to lose because the same reason I think Bayley needed to lose. And obviously Trey has been there longer than Bayley and so on and so on. We're going to different markets where we need to put our best foot forward. Not that Trey isn't that best foot forward or Bayley isn't. He did pass Daniels, 5th and to 6th, or 6th to 5th, excuse me. It's not that Trey's not our best foot forward, but I think the general consensus with his reign, and he already mentioned it, yes, he had some great defenses, some successful defenses against some great people. And then he had some family issues, and he had some health, so there were things in there by design of Impact or not that really put his title reign in peaks and valleys. So what would be best for him is to refresh, come back, and he could be X Division champion tomorrow. I don't, preferably not. But if he is, it's not Trey. It's just we need to move on to some other match here, program, excuse me. And I thought Ace was the best choice. We didn't give it to Bayley early. Bayley's pop and Trey's pop, same thing. Ace for a little bit as well. Everyone worked hard in that match to get the cheers and the response that they so rightfully deserved and received. But they worked the fuck out of that crowd to get it, man. And it was a banger of a match, But these guys are going to need some more time to marinate. And if this is an example of us putting our best foot forward with the X division, I think Ace is that guy. I don't know when Destination X is. Let's keep an eye on that. I'm bad with dates, so bad. But I think there could be something in play with that. But either way, this is his third reign on a more notable scale, on a larger scale or platform that as Impact grows. So I'm excited for Ace to get this, to solidify his reign and reigns, and then he can move on to DMC and a world title or whatever he does. But good place to be in this X division, and also heel. There's a lot of face guys: Laredo Kid, Bailey, Trey again. So there's a lot of more face X division guys than there are heel, for one reason or another. But yes, once again, shout out to Tom and Matt for putting over his reign and making everything make sense. I know it sounds silly. Let's try to call again. All right. Where are we going next? Next was at Honor No More. Honor No More, continuing the Bullet Club feud in that promo. Makes sense. Makes me happy because obviously the post tapings, we're going to get the Briscoes, we're going to get the Bullet Club, we're going to get Honor No More in one capacity or the other. After that was an EGV promo. Had some carnival lights, had some things. I don't know if this is a spoiler. It's not from looking anything up, but it's pretty sure that was Sammy. I don't know if the carnival lights were a reference to. This was me stretching here. Obviously, we see the Nashville Slammiversary promo that happened later. Nashville Fairgrounds, maybe that's a return, but that is a little bit away. I don't know where he is at as a recovery process, but it's coming up. And I'm going to jump ahead really quick because that Slammiversary package, how dare you, Impact? trying to get the feels. Trying to get the feels out of us, man. And Barry, Scott at the end, Don and Mike throughout. Man, how dare you? How dare you? But it was much needed because the placement of it was a good place to get the crowd back in it. But yes, I digress. I think it's EGV is Sammy. Let me know here what you guys think here. And we'll keep moving on. Let's keep moving on. Jonah versus Ishii was next. There we go. That was next. You know, this was one of those things that I don't think it was the beginning of the lull. It was a good match. It was entertaining. But there was so much good wrestling prior to this, right? Not making excuses, but I'm going to go there. This was also a special attraction match. This isn't had like they've mentioned in there. They're in the YouTube comments, and rightfully so. These are matches that had no outside continuity, right? So I thought for what it was, a special attraction match, it was good. It was entertaining. It's nice to see the New Japan being represented there. One little note on that, on Jonah's contract. Jonah's contract is with New Japan. That is his priority. So for those who are scared about pushing Jonah or this means he's gone, I don't think it necessarily does. But it means he more than likely will see his face quite often. Next up, tag titles. So this is what everyone's talking about. We were all excited. Did we hype it up too much? Did you guys hype it up too much? Did Impact hype it up too much? I think anytime you leave 3 blank tag teams, you're expecting something. I know Max had predicted that it would be Enzo and Cass, Morrissey together again. Thought it made sense, but obviously the Jordan thing did as well. There were no big surprises. We also didn't do the math well, I guess. Am I mistaken here? Because major players we knew were going to be in there. We had Grace and Morrissey. We had the Good Brothers. We had Swinger and Dice, which, hey, guys, I'm okay with. I'm very okay with that. Soldier showed up, OGK, Heath and Rhino, and then VBD. So those are our 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought that the tag match was booked originally for the Reno Scum. Look, guys, no, thank you. no offense to them, but I think they've gotten their try, and I just don't think they have that next level to them, unfortunately. I thought there was a lot of people we could have saw here. Obviously Briscoes and Finjuice are preoccupied with GCW. Obviously, we talked about the Wolves but obviously Eddie was already mentioned. I think there's this naturalness in us, especially when there's missing people in a match, that we're gonna put talk about Tony Kakan in there. There's this emphasis on what's the surprise, what's the big surprise. That's what it is. I once again, and this is no slight on the people that need that instant gratification, I'm a more substance. But I loved a surprise here. Of course I would have loved a surprise here. But substance is key. And I think Zicky and Dice coming out was, or Zicky and Dice, Morrissey and Dice, Max, why? Morrissey and Grace made sense, and it definitely took the major players out there. I liked how they booked it. I'm trying to go in order here, but I'm all over the place. Then was okay, so let's do that. Let's just go in order before I lose the rails. Major players came out first. Loved that because they weren't going to win, but you're already establishing them as a unit, as a viable option for those tag team titles. And what's really cool is, once again, we're dipping into the budget. So you guys say, oh, we're not spending money when we get it back, or we're selling out, but we have Cardona, Chelsea, and Myers, who are all in separate programs for the whole time of their existence and Impact. I mean, I guess Chelsea and Matt were intertwined at points, very much so. But these guys were pretty much on their own or doing their own thing. Now we're putting 3 people who had their own spots into a group, a great group nonetheless. But you guys got to look at it from a money perspective. That now is a viable team that can pop, that can get over, or if they're not already over, sell merch. It's another viable option, that tag division, which is something we've been clamoring for quite a while. And I thought this did, although the match, yes, I will be honest, I felt like there were some flaws. I'll get to that. I think that it showcased a lot of tag teams that were already units, branded, representing what Impact has already created or let evolve within Impact. So major players, great there. Grace and Morrissey, Cardona's schoolboy on Grace, which is awesome. Morrissey then puts Chelsea through the table. Look, man, I saw some people being nerds online about where he powerbombed her. He was saving that woman, and she knows it. She knows it. When he went for the powerbomb, he grabbed somewhere, but there was almost a reveal. So good on Morrissey being a gentleman there, despite what people online are saying he's not. Next up, so they lost. Good Brothers come out. They put away the major players. We go back to the Chump Challenge. We have Swinger and Dice coming out. They lose to GBS. Soldiers then come out and they lose to GBS. OGK getting the pin. OGK getting the pin on the Good Brothers, continuing the Bullet Club and Honor No More storyline, continuing that, which is dope. I didn't like the aftermath. I don't know if what's his name? Taven really got injured on the outside there. He was grabbing his head, and maybe he's just a great seller. I know, obviously a great wrestler, but yeah, that made me nervous. But regardless, they picked up at least a victory over the Good Brothers, then losing to Heath and Rhino. Look, man, I get why Heath and Rhino are together. I like the individuals, but when you go from the Good Brothers coming out, and once again, I see a lot of it there. Too many teams, too many things. I think they are. They were trying to showcase their tag teams. I have no problem with that. I think we were all excited about the match before it happened. I think it only became too many tag teams and too much clusterfuck when the little lull happened here when the Good Brothers pick up the win. Then you're bringing out Zicky and Swinger, who are a new tag team, but once again, not a surprise, not going to pop this crowd. Then you have, who was after that? The Soldiers come out, which I love, and I thought, once again, Tom did a great job of putting them over as the best tag team in consistently in Impact, because they are excellent. And I think they showed that. Then it showed OGK. Look, I think there was just that lull, and then ending with VBD being the last to come out. Although it got them the victory, although they kept the titles, although it makes them look like they only won because they beat the last team and it was a team of Heath and Rhino, they only beat the last team, which was Heath and Rhino. And once again, individually great, and I understand why they're together, but I give zero fucks about that team. I think the crowd really gave zero fucks about the team. But as Heath gets healthier and to where he needs to be and back in the groove of things, and they find something for him, they would both be valuable players. It's not like they're not, or they're whatever. It's just right now, you're working with Artie Doring, and that's nothing against Joe, but he's a little bit of a slower wrestler. You have Rhino, slower wrestler. It just wasn't a great way to end that. I thought the booking on the first half of it was great. Thought it dragged afterwards, kind of like me talking about it. It was what it was. But I think that match really is what made those YouTube comments at least relevant, in the sense of, this could have been kind of been less. I don't know. I don't know a nice way to say it, but I agree for the most part with you guys. And actually, it's not a nice way to say it. I don't know how to end it besides saying I think the division looked good. Let's see where we go from Rebellion on. If you were, or past Rebellion, if you were unsure about it, let's see what the Briscoes do. Let's see what these tag teams that I think are. Just wait. We'll wait. But I agree. But from Jonah and Ishii on, and it continued with Tasha. I wore my Tasha shirt because originally, obviously, Max was going to be with me. And I knew he was going to shit on it. And I told everyone on the pre-show, more work on the division. Yeah, I mean, there's more work for the division, but the division's going to be fine after these tapings. I think you can't garner it up to one match of booking proportions to be that the talents inside are any less because of the booking decisions. But yeah, with Tasha, man, so I wore this to support her. Look, I said in the pre-show, and that's what I was getting to, was Max had mentioned that, Rosemary is a great worker. He didn't mean it in the sense that he was just saying overall she's a great entity, she's already put together. And I rebuttal was, no, Rosemary's a good worker with a great person, with a great persona. And I stick by that. I love Rosemary. You would be lying. If I said I didn't. She's one of my favorite knockouts, but it doesn't erase the fact that her work rate in the ring is good. This was Tasha's first test to maybe ring general a veteran, or take the lead from a veteran, or whatever it may have been, to show that like we said, cheap heelish champion, start beating viable contenders, then you start beating people on your own, straight up, in great matches that are respected. This was just her winning. I thought this match was in the right position because it needs to be treated as a world title. But as far as the match itself, it was what brought this down for me. Spoiler here. We also were going to start this new segment, but I rated the pay-per-view a B+. From Ishii, Jonah tag titles to Tasha, that really brought it down for me, unfortunately. Once again, a B+ is a great grade. It doesn't mean that those matches were the drizzling shits either, because it's not. I enjoyed portions of it, or what some of the segments there, and I respect all the work that those women put in to the match. It just didn't hit from the crowd to what came across TV and whatever. But we move on to the next feud. Tasha can do it. We've been a day one fan of her. If that is working with Deonna night in, night out, then let it be. But, the match was what it was. And, that's why I gave it that grade. Next, we got the Nashville promo. with Barry Scott again. Josh Alexander, Moose. Hey, look, you couldn't write this match to go on any better. Match of the year candidate. I loved it. They gave it as much time as it deserved after a 6-month build. If not, it could have been given even more, and I would have watched it. I ate like a spoon. Obviously, with them references to Sammy coming back, and the pictures he's going for were Josh and Eddie. So we already have a Josh challenger coming. Maybe Eddie challenges first. Who knows? Let's see where this all goes. But overall, I thought it was a B+ show. This main event, if you're bookended by a Moose and Josh match, world title match, that was what we just saw it was. And it started on the pre-show with Eddie versus Chris Bey. Then it technically began with Jay White versus Sabin versus Maclin. And you're upset about this show? I got nothing for you, bro. It's a B+. It can't be anything less than a B+. Maybe a B. I don't know, man. But when you have these matches bookending them alone, I can't agree. So, do I believe Hard to Kill was better? Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. But there were too many great spots, great moments, great matches on this card that happened if they had all build or not. I don't get that necessarily. I see that there were some that had very little build. Max mentioned on the pre-show that Rosemary had very little build, but she won a battle royal. If someone wins the Royal Rumble, it's the same thing, right? So, yes, could there have been more stuff? I think we're going to get to the next part of where we see these storylines go. I think this next set of tapings that's going to happen, once again, we are spoiler-free. No spoilers in here ever, so make sure you remember that. Because they're taping, if I'm not mistaken, today and tomorrow. And I don't want to know anything. But the show overall, to me, you can't say, what have you done for me lately, when everything they've else done has been, if not a B+, better. Okay, this pay-per-view itself, or whatever you want to call it, was better. HDK was slightly better. Slammiversary is going to be even better. Look, we're selling out places. We're building a rapport with the places that we are going to. Meaning that next time we go to Poughkeepsie, I'm sure it'll be a sellout again. And I'm sure the people that were there that maybe didn't cheer for a Bailey, or maybe didn't pop for a Trey, or anyone else that you may say the crowd didn't care about, will pop next time because they know their work better. They're more familiar with them. They're more in tune to the product. Everyone doesn't need to be a home run. Should you aim for it? Fuck yeah, you should aim for it. But for a 9-match pay-per-view with a 6-month build for the main event, man, I am not disappointed. I think it's easy to say that, they disappointed us with the tag team surprises. That's fair. But did they really say, X, Y, and Z were going to show up? No, of course, if it's us, and I'm sure that's intent. Who's going to show up? Let me buy it. And I think that's why we see a lot of people on Twitter that get frustrated, because they purchase it simply for the surprise. We're not that company. We're not that company. So what did you guys think? Let me see in the chat group. You guys are blowing it up in there. I appreciate that. Isle, Critical Sting, Lucha, Datila. I see Blood Rain in there. I think I saw Millard in there earlier, Parkside 15. Hitman Kingdoms 33, I believe, as well. So a lot of good names there. Let me know, what was your guys' grade? Give me an alphabet letter. Give me an alphabet letter with a plus, minus, and anything in between. All right, guys. Now it's what everyone seems to be most excited about. It's the prediction board. Once again, make sure you guys go shout and shoot some love to Max. Hopefully, I could get him to in time for next. Something's going on here. B+. I see a B+ there. Awesome. IO there. So, looking at this, guys, you could see all the heads. You could see how kind of close we were. Loyal Hiveling 44, B+ as well. Respect Loyal Hiveling. We respect our Hivelings. We love our Hivelings. We are part of the Hive. You know, and I mean that. I want to also make that clear because we talk about the YouTube comments, we talk about this, and we always say we're transparent, unbiased, and honest, and that's kind of our shtick here. Could we would we get more followers? Would we get more thumbs up? Would we get people staying in the chat longer if we didn't say our true opinion? Probably. But we're not going to kiss ass and say it. I love Rosemary. I've bought her merch, bought anything. I mean, I'm just using her as an example. As it goes for YouTube comments and everything in between. But I think it's important for us to establish a base of truth and honesty when it comes to us, because next time we say something is very good, it's very good, and if we say something is bad, it's very bad. And sometimes you can't put a price on honesty, folks. You can't put a price on honesty. But it doesn't mean we dislike these wrestlers or what they, who they are or their character or what they do. It just some people have do I believe Swinger and Dice, who I've been clamoring for, are going to light it up in the ring as a tag team? No, I don't think that that's going to happen. If it does, awesome. That's money. Added bonus money, nonetheless. But as an entertainment aspect, as a character, as someone you tune in to see as a television program, stop and say, what are these two weirdos? I would do that. And the same goes for Rosemary. And the same goes for everyone else. I don't expect everyone to light it up in the ring. I think Impact is great at doing that, which is having this island of lack of better, more unique or generic expression. But now I forgot the expression because I'm reading the comments there. Oh, man. But we have an island. There we go. Island of misfit toys, just like ECW was. Everyone brings something to the table, but I think everyone is... the great thing about it is they got this canvas for these artists to create the most complete package that they possibly can as an individual and as an artist. And I think that's what Impact excels at the most. Would you obviously, love a different tag team than Swinger and Zicky, like a big name team? Yes. But establishing a team like that will be something, jobber or not, for us is important as well. All right. Before I can go on and on about that, let's give our big, first of all, let's go in order here as far as our big shout outs to the victors of our TNAIW team. And tied in first place for Rebellion, Craig, Lucha, and Nixon, all with 7 of 9 correct. Great job, guys. Tied for 4th. Hey, me and Bert. Tied in 4th with 6 of 9. Tied in 6th, Datila and Io. And last place, Max. That's probably why Max isn't working. No, it's technical. But Max, last place there. If you didn't vote for Tony as the winner of the the Eddie and Tony, or excuse me, Eddie and Bey match, he would be right up there. So I'm not shit on Max. I love Max. We'll get you back in here, Max, some way, brother. Thank you, Datila. Love you, man. All right, but overall, let's look at it. So we have a 3-way tie for first place in our TNAIW team. That's over a 4th month, 29 matches, 23 out of 29. Io, Bert, and Craig. Congratulations, guys. 4th place is myself, 18 of 29. Nixon in 5th, Lucha in 6th, and Max and Datila tied in 8th. What does this matter? What do we win? Nothing. But it's fun, and we get to talk about it, and you don't always have to be right. That's the key to all this. Look, this is professional wrestling. It's a television show. Okay? Let's enjoy it for what it is. Are there things that we think should be better? Are there things that should have happened that we prefer to? Yeah, sure. But overall, I think right now, Impact is killing it as a television show. There we go. Isn't on. We have those predictions. That's what I was wondering, Parkside. That's what I was wondering. But let's get into it there. So you guys can see, and we'll do this every month for every show. So next up would be is Under Siege first, and then Mayday is the tapings. Yeah, I believe so. But you can see we all voted, and I'm the lone soldier that went with Moose. Once again, my thing was chasing Josh. I love. Or Josh, who is chasing, I love. Moose, what does he do from here? Does he rest up? He's already Moose. He's already established. Does he need the belt? No. Does the belt need him? No, it's on Josh. So one thing at a time, but I thought it was just but I was happy that Josh did take it, so I'm glad everyone there, everyone, predictable or not, went with Tasha. Like I said yesterday, our most divisive one where everyone kind of split was the X Division, and that only had 3 wrestlers in it. The tag teams, we seemed pretty locked in with 8, split there going OGK and Violent by Design. Good for you guys going against the grain and picking the team to keep the belt. So, look, man, I thought it was an overall show. My point was, real quick to wrap this up, speak before the lips move. Is that me? I see what you're saying. Okay. We'll do this every month. If you guys want your predictions to be in here, pre-show every Saturday, if there is a show, we will be here an hour before their pre-show. So sometimes it's 6:30, sometimes it's 7 o'clock, depending on Impact. But add yours, come in, put it on here. It gets saved, obviously, because this gets recorded. And then everyone else that watches this later on YouTube can see all your wonderful predictions and how you did. Or don't put them if you're scared, like you guys are accusing Max of. Yes, we have the Briscoes on Thursday. We got a lot of great stuff coming for Impact. We have a lot of great stuff for this channel. Let me get to all that before I wrap up. Once again, in order, Monday, we have the debut. That's tomorrow. If you're watching this live, or Sunday live premiere on YouTube. We have the Power Rankings, GoGoPowerRankings Unleashed, Dino Fury. I don't know. We'll come up with something. I don't have anything. That's the only 2 I know. That's why I keep using. Oh, Geo one? Come on, Datila, help me out here. So I love it, but I'm not. Names are. So we'll have that expanded thing. Bert and Datila doing that. It's an ESPN, more statistic-like show about the Power Rankings. So if you're a nerd like myself, you'll enjoy it. It's only 10 minutes. Go watch that. Look out for it. Tuesday, LOL TNA GoGoPowerRankings. That is our Power Rankings we do here every week. You'll see them on Twitter, Blood Rain, sometimes as well. But we'll have a 10-minute show now that discusses the Power Rankings and introduces them weekly every Monday on the TNAIW channel. Tuesday is the debut of LOL TNA episode 7. If you're sticking with us and there's a loyal audience to this, we love you. We thank you. It is something else, nothing like we have done before. And then once again, it's not time sensitive. So it starts from the Hogan era, it goes all over places. It's not just shitting on TNA. Don't get that out. Get out of your heads. It's fun. Talk with friends, and what we do it for, not only for our own mental health, but to be around, people, and interact and just talk old shit, man. It's hard. It's hard nowadays, especially with, the pandemic ending. Maybe it's going to make it easier, but we don't know where we're at in that, or we do, who knows. But what I can say is it's nice to weekly get together and talk to people. And then it's also nice to listen to it and feel like you're around it. I listen to a lot of different shows. A lot of your guys that might be in this chat or putting out Impact content as well. I try to, keep I don't watch too much wrestling outside of Impact as far as on YouTube. But I watch a lot of things on there, and I try to stay busy there. And if you guys want something to where you could get out of your 4 walls and have some friends join you, LOL TNA or this, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm already in the treehouse, man. But yeah, that's Tuesday, and of course Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST. I can't say this enough. Talking Bloody Nonsense. Great show. They have great guests. They just had Alec Burnett, who is the DOA Wrestling out of the UK's head booker there. And they always have some really cool stuff. So go check it out. You want to talk old shit, talk Mid-South World Class. Hey, Blood Rain, we're more open to any ideas. And we love to give time to people who like to talk about wrestling. So guys, thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for being patient as always. Thank you for going back and making 85 and 86 our 2 most watched episodes ever. Thank you for going to 87 and still watching it with audio difficulty. Obviously, a video difficulty this time. But I love it. I appreciate it. And the fact that you guys are rocking with us no matter is it really does. it makes my day. Like I said, I know I was rambling on about it, but these four walls are kind of, unfortunately, what I'm stuck in a lot. And for better or worse sometimes. But it's nice to reach out, to hear your guys' opinions, positive or negative comments aside. It's nice to hear your comments on those. It's nice to hear your comments on the power rankings and all of our shows. So we love you guys. Thank you for making this community what it is. I promise you we will expand it as much as we can, and get Max back on board. Thank you guys. Stay with us for some really cool announcements coming up with our group and our team. And shout out to our team, Datila, Bert, Io, Lucha, Johnny, Max. I know I'm missing people. Everyone killing it. Thank you guys. Thank you. So that was our show. You got our prediction scores. You got our predictions. Tell us what we can improve on, what you like hearing about, what you don't like hearing about, and everything in between. Subscribe. Thank you for rocking out the chat group there. Thank you for listening to this on audio. Thank you for watching this on YouTube. Whatever you do, we appreciate it. And always do not let the comments detract you. Leave them. Be the same, be they tweak, be they more positive, more negative. I don't care. We want you guys to voice them. We are here just to give you, it's always nice to hear your guys' feedback, see a different perspective, and be able to grow as a group and see where we think about impact as it grows as well. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.